You know, oh man, somebody done cut. It happens like that. Because we've all been there. And we need to understand, fulfill it with that. And then as you look at the third commandment, as you really look at the third commandment, may be forbidden either vain swearing or simply false swearing. Now look at what Matthew says in 5:33 and 37. Now I really love the way Matthew 5:33 and 37 says it. It says, you have heard that it was said to your ancestors, never break your oath, but give the Lord what you swore in oath to give him. See, this is what I talked about when you commit to God saying, I'm going to meet you at the Holiday Inn to help you clean out the swimming pool, and you don't. What God just says, never break an oath. Don't say what you're going to do and you ain't going to do it. He said, never break an oath, but give to the Lord what you swore in an oath to give him. The silent one that's going to keep us from the kingdom of God is commandment number 3. Because we're not visualizing. We're thinking if I just say GD, or if I say go to, or I do that, I'm not going to enter the kingdom of God. But now Jesus is simply saying, it's bigger than that guy. It's bigger than that girl. And you missed the mark. And then it says in 34, verse 34, but tell you don't swear an oath at all. But I tell you, you don't swear an oath at all. Don't swear an oath by heaven, which is God's throne. And then in 35 he says, or by the earth, which is what? The footstools, or by Jerusalem, which is the city of the great king. Verse 36, and don't swear an oath by your head. After all, you cannot make on hair black or white. Verse 37. And this is the one that kills us. This is why a lot of us, this is why I always say, heaven ain't crowded. We ain't going to be elbows to elbows. It ain't going to like being at the Macy's Day Parade and we all trying to see the biggest float and we just, oh man, I can't even move. It's 5. It ain't like that. It ain't like a New Year's Eve parade. We watching Dick Clark and we out there and we cold. And it ain't going to be like that. Because verse 37 just simply says, simply say yes or no. Anything more than that comes from the evil one. Period. Anything more than that is Satan. He just simply said your yes needs to be yes and your no needs to be no. He done already, if you're going to commit your will to God, if you're going to say to God, I'm going to do this, do it. But if you're not going to say do it, then just say no. You're punishing yourself by continually saying yes. That's what he's saying. So why put yourself in a situation that your name is getting removed every day from the book of life? And we're going to get to that because the Bible just simply says, and it's at the end, so we're going to end it like that. In James 5 and 12, in James 5 and 12 it says, above all things, my brothers and sisters, do not take an oath or anything in heaven or on earth. You've heard this before. Do not take any oath. If you mean yes, say yes. Did he say it again? See, you might have missed the mark a little while ago in Matthew, and then James come back and he does what? These people fall back into the same trap. If your no means no, say no. Do this so that you won't be condemned. That's what he's saying. So be real with God. Don't say to God, well, God, I'm going to show up and I'm going to help the Holiday Inn clean out the swimming pool. I'm going to help paint the pool because I know the church is going to have baptism. And then you don't show up. You just committed yourself to hell. You just cursed God. You just committed blasphemy. So now you see why we said we was going to do each commandment individually? Because there's other verses that go with the commandment that we missed the mark. It's more than just using his name in vain. It's the way you use his name in vain. It's the way you commit to his name in vain. And he just simply saying, period, time out, people. Let's get this thing right. You said you was going to get your life right and be a deacon. But you still over there at everybody's lounge on Friday night talking about, man, that girl sure look good. You know, I talked to a pastor yesterday, and he was talking about, he got this guy that comes to church, and he knew the guy drank. You know, the guy would come in, he would sit up in the balcony, he would wear his hat on. And this pastor said on this particular Sunday, he was singing in the choir. He said, I went up there and I sat with this guy. But what he said next to me, my mind immediately went, well, he just didn't want the guy to feel by himself. But what he said was, I went to protect him. He said, because I knew somebody was going to offend him by saying, either take off your hat or you smell like alcohol, so you need to leave. So he said, I didn't even say anything. He said, but I knew as long as I sat there, wouldn't nobody say nothing to him. So think about this. He could have in his mind to himself, because nobody knew what he was thinking, because he was sitting on the choir, and while he was on the choir singing, he couldn't leave. So he could have been saying, glory, happy, and they're doing all that, saying that as soon as we finish this song, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to sit with this guy. Nobody knew what he was thinking but himself. But what would have happened if he wouldn't have went after the song or after the service was blasphemy? He just committed a sin. Nobody knew. He publicly didn't say anything. He had already committed to his, so his yes said, I'm going to go protect this guy. I'm going to make sure that nobody make this dude feel bad because he got his hat off. And they saw the guy coming in there. The dude said, everybody knew he was drunk. But he came to church anyway. And then he said, like I said, he's singing. His mind is racing while he's singing. So his mind was saying, go protect. He had said, I want to go up there and sit with this guy and protect this guy. But what he didn't realize, and I'm sure he did because the guy was, he was a Christian, and he was a biker, and he looked at like a hell's angel. He looked at rough. I mean, he did. But he said, I went, and I didn't say anything. I just sat there and protected him. And an example of that, when you say you're going to do something, nobody has to know. But in your mind, when you say, I'm going to go protect this guy, and you don't, you've committed the third commandment. You've broken the third commandment. Even though nobody knows what you say but you. So as we look at Psalm 63 and 11, Psalm 63 and 11, it says, but the king will find joy in God. Everyone who takes what? An oath. And your oath is what? Your honor. Your oath is your word. You know how the mosques, they didn't never have a contract. They would shake hands and they would say, my word is my oath, my word is my honor. That's what this commandment is saying. Everyone who takes an oath by God will brag, but the mouths of the liars will be shut. That's what he's saying. We brag about the things we do for God. But then we'll brag about the things we do for God and we ain't done nothing. We'll talk about the will of what we've done for God, and what he's saying is, your oath is your word. So if you're going to brag about what you're going to do for God, just do it. If you're going to say, I think they got something coming up in a couple of weeks. If we're going to do the Operation Christmas Child, and you're going around telling everybody, man, I'm going to get 100 boxes. I'm going to be the biggest one in the church. Ain't nobody going to outdo me. I'm going to take 75, because you can do this. I'm going to take $75. I'm going to go to the Dollar Tree where everything's $1, and I'm going to fill them boxes up. You tell them, and this is what I'm going to do. And then you show up at church with 7 boxes. You done told the church you're going to get 75 boxes because you're going to spend $75 and $1 goes a long way. Or better yet, you just run around talking about, I'm the big chief, I'm the big dog, I'm the yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yay, hop-de-doody, I'm the long ranger, tonto jumping over the tree, all that. I'm going to lead this here song. They waiting on me to sing this here song because I got the best voice in the church, and they looked at me to lead this song. And then when the choir director says, Michael, you ready to sing this song? And you say, no, because you done got scared. But you done bragged about how great you're going to sing this song. You got your family and friends done came to church that Sunday. Your homies sitting out there. Your homies that don't even come to church, they're coming to church because they know, oh man, Michael, he going to sing. I want to see this here. And everybody sitting out there. And what you just did, you just committed a sin. You just committed a sin. And that's what this verse in Psalm is saying. You bragged about it, but you hadn't done anything. You boasted about it, you glorified about it, but you hadn't done anything. So then it's for those who constantly take God in vain. Here is what you have to look forward to as we come to a close. For those of you who constantly commit this silent sin, and I call it a silent killing. You know, it's like when I was in the military,